connected.
Hey guys, welcome to Woodzman Adventures. Today we're going to be doing an air filter install on the Honda Africa Twin. I'm taking out the stock air filter, which is right here, and I'm installing the Twin Air. And you can get these from CRFsonly.com. He's got a super deal on the set of filters. You only see one here because I actually installed the right side. So when I make the video, I don't have to go through a lot of figuring things out how to do it. So I could do the video on the left side, which once you do one side, the other side is pretty much exactly the same thing. So I'll show you how to do the left side, and you'll know how to do the right. But these Twin Air filters from CRFsonly.com, he has a kit. Comes in a box with 2 filters, pre-oiled, instructions not how to take the fairing off, but how to install the filter and what to do on that. But they're not going to be many tools at all. If you have crash bars, of course, like I do, I have the alt-rider crash bars, so I had to remove them. But to do the air filter install without the crash bars, you just need a 10mm socket. You need a couple of Allen wrenches and a Phillips screwdriver, and that's about all you're going to need. It's actually a really simple install. A lot of people have been asking questions about, do you have to remove the tank? You know, but you do not have to remove the tank, which is a plus. Very simple install. I'm going to show you how to do it, and I'll put a link to CRFsonly.com down below so you can check it out and get them. He's got a super deal for the 2 air filters, because the nice part about the Twin Air, you pay a little more initially than you do the stock ones for the pair, but the cool part is you just open this thing up, take your filter out, soak it in a cleaning solution, squeeze the oil out of it. You don't want to wring it when you do it, you just want to squeeze the oil out of it. Squeeze the oil and the soap out of it, rinse it out good, and stick it back in there. You don't want to twist and tear at it. You can see the 3 stages in the filter here. So it fits right back in there just like that. Close that, bolts in, and it's that simple. The Twin Air filter will give you a lot more airflow, so you're going to gain performance. Easy to clean, and keep your bike clean, fresh air coming in all the time. So this is the way to go. Forget buying these things. They're 30 to 40 bucks a piece or more. I can't remember what the price is. I figured these would actually be dirtier than they was, and they're not as bad as I thought. So but I need to replace them anyway, and I want to gain the airflow by putting in the Twin Air, the foam filters. So CRFs Only has a great deal on them, which he has tons of Africa Twin parts. You want to buy Africa Twin parts, that's the place to go to get it. And let me get started on this video and show you how to install it. Alright, starting off, the first part we're going to do is we're going to remove these 2 bolts here, and then we're going to remove one more bolt that is right by the windshield up here. Right there, you're going to remove that bolt right there. So remove these 3 top bolts, and then we'll go down to the lower part. Okay, to remove these 2 here, along with all of them that's Allen bolts on this part, will be a number 5 Allen wrench. Break both these loose. Now what I do here, and I would recommend for you to do it also, is I've done the other side, so just remove one side at a time, put it all back together, and you're done with that side. Then move to the other side, and you don't get none of your bolts, nothing mixed up. It makes it a whole lot simpler. Just do one side at a time. Alright, now we're going to remove the upper bolt right here, and it's a number 5 also, just like the other 2 I removed. Be careful not to drop your bolts down inside anything. Make a bad day for you if you do that. You have to fire that bolt. Alright, the next bolt we have to move is this one right here. Same size, 5mm. So we'll just break it loose, spin it out of there, unsnap this, but you actually don't have to remove this all the way. I just unsnapped it out of the way because there's a little pop tab right here we'll pull. Pops in right there. So we popped it out. Okay, what's different on my bike that may be different from yours is I don't have the factory radiator guards no more. I have the B&B aluminum radiator guards, so just a little bit way that it bolts on different. You'll still have the same bolts in the same area, or you'll have some of them. You'll have these two bolts here, but I have these two bolts on this bracket for the B&B, so, and they're a 5mm Allen. But you'll see on my video, if you look back at the B&B, do a search for Woodzman B&B, and you'll see the radiator guards where I installed them, and it shows how to take off your stock radiator guards. There's these two 10mm bolts, and my horn is located a little different probably than yours too. With these radiator guards, I had to rearrange the horn to make them work. Just gotta get this off out of the way so I can get to some tabs that's in behind here. Alright, on mine, I'll have to remove this bracket because I had the B&B radiator guards. You will too if you have the B&B. If not, or some other aftermarket. But if not, you'll still have to remove these pop tabs right here. These little push tabs, and I'll show you how to get them out here in a minute. This here bolt is a 3mm Allen right here. You'll still have to remove it. I don't remember on there what screw it is on the factory. It may be a Phillips. Okay, and what I do on popping these tabs is in the center of this, there's a center pin that you push in on. So I take a Allen wrench like this that I got right here, set it in the center, hold that, and then push in on it. Same with this one up here. And it'd be the same way with all of them that we have to remove. Pull the tabs out. I'll leave them both in here like that just so I know that two of them go in there when I put it back on. Alright, right up under here we have one of those pop tabs that we'll push in and take out. This here you may not have on your bike, but I have the all-rider crash bar, so this is the reinforcement brace for them. But you do not need to remove that. Alright, we have one more pop tab right here. Push pin, whatever you want to call them. And this is on the lower part that we'll take out. Hopefully you can see the video and see where that's at. It's kind of hard to get an angle in there and get that. Alright, we also have one here. I'm going to just show you on the camera because it's kind of hard to get a camera into that angle right here below the turn signal on the inside of the fairing. We have one of those tabs right there to remove. So we'll pop it in and take it out. Alright, now we're going to pop the plastic loose. So one of the first things we want to do is there's a tab right here we already got popped loose. There's another one. We'll pull this out right there. One down low right here, and there's one right behind this badge. Work our way up there. Be real careful not to break it. You don't need to pull out on these yet. We'll pull this loose here, just like so. There's a tab right up here, like that. And there's a tab. This is not the same kind of tab here, but it's a rubber tab right here. You can see that one, but this one here has a little plastic piece right here that sets in a notch, wherever it is, right here, sets in a notch right here and slides in. So make sure you don't just pull this part out or you could bust that tab off. So there we got that cover off. Take and wipe some of the dust out of the way. Amazing how much dust builds up underneath your plastics when you're riding, just going on some dusty roads. Just want to keep all the dust and debris out of my air intake. Now we'll take a Phillips screw right here, take the top 2 screws out. Now at the bottom, we'll take the bottom 2. There's actually one located right in this position and one located right here. They actually have a holder when you back them out that you leave them in there. You don't take them completely out. You just thread them till they're loose and they stay on the airbox. They will not actually fall out either because of the holder. Like so. Get them backed out of the way. Now what we want to do is grab this thing, pull out a little bit, and then slide forward, because right up here what we have is there's a rubber tab on the back of this that slides into a notch. So you don't want to just pull this out. You could break that rubber tab off. You want to slide it forward till it goes off of that notch. Pull it out. And slide it forward like that. Now you can slide it back a little bit, flex this rubber out of the way like that, and then pull your cover out of there. Here's this rubber tab that I was showing you right here, and it slides onto a little fork here on the bike. I don't know if you can see this or not. Right there, it slides right into that little fork. So you want it slid forward and then slide the rubber tab, hold it back and push it back in there when you go back on. And the back side of this, we have these 2 tabs right here that slide into notches back inside here. You see one right there, the upper one's right there. You want to make sure those are slid into position when you put it back on also. Now I'll take my cover, clean it the rest of the way off, make sure it's, so I don't get dust and dirt falling in there. The inside of it's actually spotless, as you can see, a little light dust. But this is the outside of the filter, so that part don't matter. What's back in behind this filter is what matters. Now remove the 2 screws from the filter. Save these screws because we'll be using them on the twin air filter. And it just pulls out just like that. See, it's not really that bad. I mean, it's dirty. It's close to time to replace it. But I'll show you the new one. Okay, here's the twin air. Just make sure when you do this and when you put it back together, if you take and clean this filter, make sure that when you put this back in, there's just black on this side, that the twin air is on the outside and it says up right on it when you put it back in there. So this thing just sets right back here, line the 2 holes up. If you notice too, I'll show you, it's actually clean inside here. That's because that's the filtered side. Start our bolts back in. Tighten these back up. Make sure it's lined right and going in straight. Now we'll install this back on. See how easy it is? No removing the tank or anything to install this. Leave the tank in place, just move this side fairing of the fairing off. It's really simple to do. Only thing it makes hard is the crash bars make it a little rougher. A little harder to install, but it's still nothing to it. So what I do is push this back in here, get it far back as I can, and then get this snorkel right here shoved back in behind there. Then I will set it in position, slide forward and I can feel up here if my rubber tab is in position. Like that right there. Then we'll put our screws back in. Okay, once you have this lined up in position now, you can take and put your bolts back in here. One little tip here is if the box don't want to feel like it wants to slide back, you make sure that those two back tabs that I showed you earlier slide into the little sockets that they go in. You want to make sure they're in there, and if it doesn't slide back, it's probably these two bottom bolts. If they're slid in, they'll be hanging on the little bosses there and they won't let it go back. So make sure your bolts are out and then it will slide back in a lot easier. And just make sure that you got the little rubber tab in the little notch where it's supposed to go. Then all's good and we can put the screws back in it. This part here, I'll probably just speed the camera up because all you're going to do on this part is just put it back together in the reverse of what I showed you how to take it apart. That's all you're doing. Just like that. Now we'll put the fairing back on. Okay, one other thing I want to show you is on these tabs, when you have pushed it in to take these out, it pushes this little button in. You can see right there. So what you want to do before you install them back is push this back and all the way out just to that point stops right there, and this will be sticking out this side. And then when you put it back in the hole, you'll hold the tab with two fingers like this, keeping the button out. You can push it back until it fits in the socket, and then when it's in the socket, then you'll push that tab in, it locks, and it should be flat right there. If it's like that, you got it in right. So I'll put it back together. Alright guys, that's all there is to the install for the twin air filters from CRFsonly.com. Please click thumbs up on the video, subscribe. I'll put a link to CRFsonly.com where you can get these filters. I'm telling you, this is going to be the best way to go for your bike. In the long haul, it's going to save you a lot of money because you can just take the filters out and wash them instead of replacing 70, 80 bucks, 90 bucks worth of filters, you know, depending on where you get them each time. You can just rewash these. So I'll put a link to CRFsonly.com in the description showing you where the Africa Twin parts are and the twin air filters. And thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.